Don't try to throw your success story. It's not for you to tell people how good you are. It's for people to tell you how good you are. Everybody has small skill of selling. It's a matter of you want to move forward one step.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation with presidential hopeful George Goh as he details his entire journey from $5,000 41 years ago to $3.15 billion in revenue, his lessons learned along the way, and why he has decided at this age to run for presidency in Singapore. Please enjoy. What is up, folks? Mel right here. I got a very special guest today for our podcast. You know, he wears so many hats, really successful entrepreneur, he's running for president, just a very amazing, wise, successful business person, just a great person in general. His name is George Goh. He's right here with us. And, I just want to ask George a whole bunch of questions relating to his life, his entire journey, his entrepreneurship experience, failures maybe, successes also, some of the lessons he has picked up along the way. So George, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
right.
Thank
so,
you.
George, how old are you this year? And how long have you been doing this business thing?
This year?
Yeah.
63.
63. And you started at...
Am I look like 63 or 53?
You don't look 63.
Wow, wonderful.
Your energy very, very youthful.
41 years in business, Very difficult, 41 years.
41 years. I read that you started many 41 years ago with just $5,000.
Yes.
Did you know you would be this successful?
No, at that time, definitely no. Nobody planned like that, At the time, I was just thinking about maybe make about $1 million. That is good enough, really. But I don't know whether I can go that far. Nobody can predict at that time, no.
So did you grow up in poverty? Did you grow up with a great, successful entrepreneurial family? What was your entire journey like, to want to, at that age, 41 years ago, kind of start out with a $5,000? What was the entire thing that is going through George's mind? Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur?
No. But close to about 7 years, see, Melvin, when you work in a factory, factory basically how staff, the staff is the same. Morning, evening. And the salary, is not talking about today, 4,000, 5,000, 6, 7. They're talking about a few $100s. It's a very small amount. But of course, in 82, it's okay, The cost of living is low. But anyway, so about 7 years, when you become just a general worker, then subsequently become a shoemaker. But of course, I dreamed at the time. I was thinking, I say, how is it possible if I can one day, I can have my own house, my own car, and so on. But that just a dream, not really something that I'm considering at the times. But I saw my friend. Interestingly, I see there's some study in university in overseas. Of course, some very young, they drive. Even the clothes, the wear is quite different from us, because factory boy.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to buy the blended and so on. Don't talk about Calvin Klein. We don't know what it's called Calvin Klein. But anyway, when they see all these young people slightly different from us, then you felt, you are maybe the left behind one.
Wow. So basically, you saw people being successful, and you were at that point in time working in the factory, not doing as well, and you felt the sense of being left behind. So, a lot of people have dreams, but very few people act on it. What made you think that you could do it?
At that time, there's a few things very interesting. I did it. I like to watch certain movie, even the age. The Roman movie, very old movie, Roman movie. So the Roman movie always show there's a king, there's a poor boy.
Yeah.
I don't know why the directors or the producer the same one. So the poor boy is always slightly handsome, good looking. So I say, wow, how come one day, of course, this poor boy will become through the competition. I'm not sure you see this movie or not.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a knighthood, they fight. So they win. Finally, they married the princess.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, you know the result, right? One day the poor boy will become the kings. When the kings pass away, or this poor boy will become king. So at that time, I only focus to see whether one day I will be like that. But I'm not sure. At the point, I just see the movie, I think this is something I like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you have any doubt the first time you started? You started with $5,000. What was that first business? What went through your mind? Did you have doubt? But so, you work in a factory. Do you know what you're doing also?
5,000 is a very small capital.
Yeah.
If you just bought a few pieces of leather, old machines, and you pay the renter, I think you know, right? Today you look at the renter, even HDB will cost you $3,000-$4,000.
Yeah.
So at that time, fortunately enough, we just pay $500 per month. Not so bad. But a few thousand, in fact, if you look at today's standard, it's not possible to even talk about few thousand. But at the time, I was thinking, it's okay, let's start and see whether we can make. Very interestingly, let me explain to you how I first sell my shoe. Actually, the first shoe we made is a rider shoe.
For motorcycle rider?
The motorcycle one. Of course, I don't know where to sell right at that time. So a few friends was a motor rider, the Yamaha rider. Very interesting. Then we asked them, can we make a shoe, the high boot for you? Of course, I charged them more. Because handmade.
Yeah, and high boot also.
Yeah. So very good profit. In fact, the leather don't cost so much. It's quite a cheap leather. But we put the colorful. The rider boot is a bit more colorful, right? Of course, not the F1 one. At that time, we make the shoe custom made to the. So it's a very good profit, and we charge them quite high. Wow, that is give us a very confident level. Wow, we can charge a bit more. That's how we started with the rider boot shoe. Yeah.
So as you started to produce more of these rider boots, right? How did the business start to grow? What was your entire strategy? Because you must understand, for all the people watching, you started as you work in a factory, you take a small amount of capital, you make a bunch of boots, and now they start selling.
Yeah.
But did you know how to do this thing called business?
You see, like Carousel like that, right? Now you sell it to individual, right? I saw my children do that. Went to MRT and wait for some guy or some lady waiting to buy this. That's called the love or whatever, the pre-love or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you see, at first you do not have this in your mind to say, I want to sell it to the retailer. You don't think this way, right? You say, okay, Melvin, you want a shoe or not? I make for you $40.
Yeah.
So your profit almost half, right? Because the cost is low. Then of course, slowly you say, hey, if I only sell to individual, so the number of customer you have is limited, After the number of friends,
you run out.
You run out of friends, right? Yeah. You cannot ask somebody to buy the same shoe, the second pair and third pair, not possible. Then we started thinking, why don't we start to sell in shop? But shop also got a few types, We dare not go into department store.
Yeah.
Because our level, the standard is very low, you cannot. You don't want to go to the store that is a so-called high-class, like Orchard store. So I went into Sungai Road.
Wow.
Those are HDB. Now they call the lock-up store. Even now they have the lock-up store, So the lock-up store, the merchants, people are quite nice. Yeah. When you approach them, because they are very small merchants, very small retailer, they will accept, the quality. People. Yeah, because the quality, right? We don't have the best quality. Because I just start my business, I don't know whether I can produce the top quality. So this is how I start.
Wow. So I think it's kind of cool, right? Because today people know you, all these companies, you make billions of dollars. But it seems like the way you begin is very humble beginnings, right? You work in a factory, not sure if this will work.
Yeah.
You begin basically in the heartland stores.
Exactly.
And just having this basically normal, I call them mom and pop shops, just pretty humble business owners just taking a chance on you. Would that be fair?
You see, Melvin, even the young people today, I was just thinking about them. There are three ways for them in the career, right? One is you work in public office.
Yeah.
So second is private sector bank or whatever it is. So another way is maybe you can think something about you start your own.
Yeah.
You see, there's a lot of shop you go around, a lot of shop. There are two tier of pricing, right? One is the retail to the consumer.
Yeah.
One is manufacturer Manufacturer mean you can buy the cost lower, right?
Yeah.
So in between, there's a margin, right?
Yeah.
If you can get from the source, and this is the end part, right? Selling to the consumer. So in between, you look at 30 to 40% margin, right? You can consider that, Why? I see Cambodia, Vietnam, Indonesia, even some part of Malaysia. You can buy the cost, especially our currency, to our advantage. So I want to encourage the young people because our currency now is quite strong.
Yes, it is.
So if you buy from Malaysia, you see 3.4, 3.45 right now.
Yeah.
So when you bring it back to Singapore, in fact, there is a big margin. There's a big margin. Indonesia, the same thing. Vietnam but these are the countries are producing a lot of stuff. I'm not talking about only shoe and clothes. There are many, many, many stuff can do that. So if you can start, because you train, but I saw Singaporean majority are trained now. You can sell online, you buy online.
Yeah.
Remember, they say from Lazada and all these things, right?
Yeah.
Some people can make money through, they buy something and they sell to the friend and all things. Actually, this is how I started. So you start to sell to individual, right? When subsequently you can look into all these lock-up store or neighborhood store.
Yeah.
You see, there are two types of store you can consider first. Lock-up store, the people are not so sophisticated.
Yeah.
So long the price you can match, right? You sell to them. You know what local store, right? The one at the hawker center.
Yep.
They have local. There's another one called neighborhood store. Neighborhood store, the people also quite friendly one. So this is how I begin all my
So
career.
you had to just go down there, talk to normal Singaporeans and basically like persuade them?
Of course. You can do that. Everybody, the young men, I think, everybody has small skill of selling. It's a matter of you want to move forward one step. You can do that.
So as a factory worker, I don't know if you had like all of these skills. What was your whole approach? Because, first time now you got to go down the shop, persuade people to take a chance on you. They have not heard of you. What kind of brand is this? How was your communication?
You see, now, when you talk to all these bosses itself, of course, they're all bosses, right?
Yeah.
Your tone, you have to be really nice and very sincere to them.
Yeah.
You say, uncle, I'm selling you something. This is from which country, let's say Vietnam and so on, right? You look at the quality and so on, and this is the pricing I'm selling to you. Of course, you need to do some survey. The pricing, you must make sure. And if you sell candle, you better make sure, the price is competitive enough, right?
Yeah.
If you sell leather product, you also must make sure it's competitive enough. They will consider, because they see the pricing, they look at your pricing, they say, hey, if I buy from you, if I sell this price, they can make this price. They don't mind. Especially when you're a young boy or young girl, right? They like it. Let me tell you why. They give you a better chance than anybody, because they say when you're young, right? They say, okay, boy, okay, I support you. Okay, get me a dozen first. I try. You say, uncle, okay, I will deliver. Okay. Then you hand carry lah. By bus also can, by MRT also can.
Wow.
All right, you don't need to go buy an Audi to start your business, right? Audi, you don't have to do that. So you go by bus also, carry around your backpack and just deliver by yourself. So you save a lot of money. Right?
It's pretty humble beginnings.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, when you make a couple of thousand, you will feel more confident.
Yeah.
You must make a few $1,000. If you cannot make me money, then you say, wow, this business is very tough.
No proof of concept.
No proof of concept. The moment you see your bank, how come I started with a couple of thousand, now I have about 10,000? Then you start to say, okay, I will import more product.
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, from 10,000, you see after 3 months, you say, oh, now I got 25,000. Then you start to think already, that means I found my formula already. Yeah, when you got 4,000, right, you got 21,000, you say, wow, my goodness. But don't spend, Melvin. Keep it, A big gamsiap is okay.
I want to talk a little bit about this, right? Because you have struck me as throughout this entrepreneurship journey, people say, hey, George has made so much money also, but you have always maintained a philosophy of financial prudence, right? And then I see the way you calculate and talk about numbers just now, like it is something that factors in. Not a lot of entrepreneurs are very aware of numbers. So let's talk a little bit about like management of money, financial prudence. Where did that come from? What's your thoughts on this?
You must train from young. You see the number of dollar you have, right? You see whether you're salary man, wherever you work, there's only a number of dollar you have, right? So your lifetime might match. If you say if you had a habit of keeping or in saving, let's say you have a habit. I taught my children like that, regardless of what, keep some money. They worry a raining day. Your father maybe one day is successful, maybe one day will collapse.
Yeah.
That is a lot of history tell you business successful men are gonna. So from young you must train. Don't overspend. This one is the key of the success if you want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because the number of dollars you can make, let's say, is X dollar percentage, right? But you must make sure you know how to save.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to spend, you need to spend, but you try to keep it as your capital base. The moment you reach a certain amount, let's say you have 100,000 now, tell you, your confidence level are quite different already. You say, wow, now I'm crossing 100,000 already, you know. It's a totally different. Even you walk, it's very different. Even you talk, also different. You have some money and with no money, actually quite different. You feel like confidence level is very high, spirit very high. You try. If you keep 100,000, slowly you get to 200,000, slowly you get to 300.
Yeah.
I can tell you, you will be very successful. So how are you going to do that? Of course, you got to save it. Every dollar you make, try to keep it.
I think that one is good because you see a lot of people these days as entrepreneurs, and I want to hear from you, right? Once you hit, so you start out poor, but then once you hit a certain sum of money, did you get confident, but maybe a little bit overconfident? You say, hey, no, it's time to buy some nice things, man. It's time to splurge. Did you ever go through that stage?
Yeah, I share with you one story about this. I have a working shirt, right? I mean, it's not like we cannot afford to go and buy new one. But sometimes you see the collar here, right?
Yeah.
They break up into two parts. I mean, you can do two things, right? One, you throw away, right? Another one, you go to the Far East Plaza. I'm quite good at that. You go to the fourth floor. You go to the Far East Plaza, you say, Uncle, this one, can you help me to
fix
it? They say, okay, $10. So think about it, $10 versus you're going to buy another $100 shirt, for example. So you can use that, you can use it. You ask me, are you still doing it? Yeah, I'm still doing it now.
Wow.
Yeah, even at this stage, I'm still doing it now. Of course, this is the habit you have, There's something the young people should consider that.
I think it's pretty cool. Let's walk through the different stages, right? So you start out, you go to these shops, you start making a bit of money. What was the next stage in your business? Because there can be only so much shoes that you can carry in a bus to go to a mom and pop shop, right? At some point in time, you need to evolve from being, let's say, just a salesperson, talking to them, to becoming a leader, looking at bigger things. What was the next stage?
You see, for my first 10 years, I go to 4 stages. The first time, as I say, handmake. Handmake, right? You only got 24 hours, right? Even you work 16 hours, 18 hours. The number of pairs, standard one.
Yeah.
You need to turn around a certain hour for a pair of shoes. So 2 years later, I was thinking, as I say, right? I make some money already. The first 2 years, I make some money. I say, why don't I import some shoes? If I import, mean manufacturing import, then I have 2 income, right? My rental is the same one, right? I still in the same place. My office is the same. Everything is the same one. But there's the 2 income. One is the import. Of course, you got to do pre-order. If you're smart enough, you think about pre-order. So you pre-order when the goods arrive, in the shorter period, you quickly send it to all the retailer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then your manufacturing is still going on, right? Now, the one is non-brand. Non-brand, right? Not like Zara, we don't have all this brand, but it's okay. You do just buy a trendy one. It should be okay. Now, subsequently, what I did is I tried to do exhibition. Exhibitions means I tried to get some from a different country. That I started to do some exhibition in Singapore. Pre-order, I did the same thing, pre-order, in a bigger scale. Wow, they want to make a lot of money.
Wow.
Because one time you can easily receive 100,000 pair of shoes.
Wow.
200,000 a pair. You can imagine, just multiply by, because the way I did.
How you got a vision to all of a sudden go from, hundreds all the way to 100,000? Are you scared? It's 100 times.
Oh, Melvin, the order came in. I remember the first exhibitions, we don't have money to open LC.
Yeah.
Plenty of order.
Yeah.
Overwhelming the order. but no money to open LC. Wow, that period was a very tough one. So I discussed with the manufacturer. I said, can you come in batches? Because no money to pay.
Yeah.
The only way is to stagger.
Yeah.
Stagger. Of course, I also go to the bank and I asked the bank.
Yeah.
Fortunately enough, that time we have a small, medium-sized bank. Maybe now very difficult. You know?
Yeah.
Now, at the time we go to the bank, they look at us and they say, I know you. Because the first time when I opened an account, 1982, $1,000, I started the same account. But you might always stay with the same bank, same account. Don't running around. You know? Then familiar your character.
Yeah.
Then familiar the way you behave.
Yeah.
Let them trust you in a couple of years. So I asked on facility. I say, can you give me some? But I don't have any asset.
Yeah.
No asset to pledge.
Yeah.
You say, can you help me? Give me LC. I will repay you. Because LC, one thing good, they give you 90-day credit. That means bank will trust you 90 days. So they want help a lot. I did some. Of course, I also borrow some from friend.
Wow.
So multiple way to do it at the point.
Were you scared? Like was there some element of fear as you move from this size to this size?
No. Because pre-order, you don't have to worry. If you buy in advance and put in your warehouse, then you look out for customer. That's not so nice. If you pre-order, mean when the goods come, you already know who your customer to deliver.
Wow.
That is the good one. But of course, that take about a few years. But in 1990, I say, all these are non-branded item. Non-branded item, you cannot go too far.
Yeah.
You know the concept, right?
Yeah.
So my brother, myself, we 3 brothers are founding. So we sit there to say, hey, why don't we try to present some international brand? Then the brothers, we start to travel to all different countries, from Germany to Italy to England to Switzerland. Many countries we travel. Then we try to ask for so-called agency. You know the agency, right? That's different. When you get the agency, but of course you got to make sure you are the sole distributor. You don't give it to too many people, then at the end you make nothing. So I say, give it to us, this territory. So I always say, they say, okay. Because Singapore, fortunate at that time, is a very small country. They don't bother too much. They say, okay, young man, I give it to you. I was very young in 1990.
Yeah.
So they say, okay, we give it to you, the distributorship for 3 years.
Wow.
Then you got to work very hard to prove you can handle the brand. And that will make quite a fair bit of money.
Wow.
You see the transform or not?
Yeah.
From a pair, one pair by one pair, to all the way to represent the brand.
Wow.
Yeah, you see, in 1990, when you approach all these owner, all these owner, when they own the brand, they have own character one.
Yes, of course.
They're tough people, they're protecting the brand is like nobody business, I tell you. Yeah. So, again, I say, when you start your business young, you got one advantage. Because you look very young. Luckily, at my size is very small. My brother also the same. So, not a bad idea. You are 1.65 meters. Short is good. People say tall is good, but short is also very good. So, you always look very small. When these people look at you, they say, my goodness, this fellow come from 1,000 miles away,
Yeah.
They always think this way. They say, oh, this boy comes. And then you start to talk to them. They can feel your sincerity.
Yeah.
They can feel your passion. You are very passionate about your business.
Yeah.
They also can feel this guy must be working 24 hours. He's so passionate when you talk. Sometimes we're small, but it doesn't matter. But you have to show your interest. You say, I want to represent your brand. So I will do my best in this country.
Yeah.
Trust me for 3 years.
Wow.
So when you talk like this, all these are seasonal player, right?
Yes.
They will say, okay, young man, I give you a chance.
Yeah.
Try. 3 years, okay? You better prove you can handle my brand. That is the situation we are in.
So that was the third stage. That was the final, the last one.
Yeah.
after you start representing these big brands?
When I, of course, representing this time, not only one, and then we start to acquire more branding. Because when you travel all the way to Germany, the expo, the expo fair, and let me share with you, very interesting. The expo fair is similar like car fair. You think about car industry, right? They have this, all the brand was in all one location. So we went to the expo, Germany expo. So I see, wow, about 4 days, maybe 4 to 5 days. 9 o'clock, we already at the doorstep. The exhibition closed at 5. We get out at 5:30.
Wow, full day.
You see, this owner no. They have been seeing this boy running around the expo. Actually, they know, no. Melvin yesterday just passed by here. Today, still passed by here. The day
Hardworking.
after,
Hardworking.
And then they can see your attitude, you know what? We're holding the plastic bag. I can tell you, no joke. All the catalog stick.
Wow.
And then we go to one booth by one booth and talk to them.
Wow.
Wow, that one is, I tell you, is very challenging.
Will you say that work ethic, just the willingness to be on the ground, to be honest, to be sincere, to be authentic, has been a large part of the success?
Definitely. You see, at that time, you asked me whether I can speak the language or not. I can't. You can't speak because they are the native speaker, right? You cannot beat them. You only can show these are the few things you have. Authenticity, you're talking authentic. You can show them, right? You keen the product. They can also size you up during the few days actually you walk around to see. I saw this boy pass by almost every day.
I love the fact that you mentioned that, like you didn't speak their language or so, because these days, there are a lot of people who might be able to speak well, etc., yada, yada, but, they might not always have the most authenticity, the most sincerity, and sometimes the words and the language seems to cover up for that. But it seemed that, you were in a foreign country where language was not your strength. But at the same time, it didn't matter, right? Because people could feel another kind of language, right? Which was the fact that...
You see, Melvin, let me explain. Asia Pacific, we got a few countries. It's very interesting country. Vietnamese, right? How Vietnamese speak to the British guy?
I have no idea.
They won't change, right? They still use the Vietnamese style, right?
Yeah.
Right? When you see a Thai guy from Thailand, you can tell. They will tell you the tone is like that. You can tell more or less. Then how about the Japanese? Japanese don't speak too many words, no?
Yeah.
And why they can get the brand? Right? Not only that, how about Chinese? Chinese only concern their own language. They can't speak properly as well. But there's no other alternative, right? You still have to use one or two words to explain to this so-called Westerner, right? These are the countries. So the few countries all like that.
Yeah.
Malaysian also like that. You say Malaysian, the tune also different. Right? In fact, the best language, the people say the best one is Singaporean already. But Singaporean Singaporean, actually, right, we have Singlish and all these things. Doesn't matter. I think among the speaker, I think the best one is the Singaporean. That's why Singapore have the advantage. But even at my level at that point in time, it's sufficient enough to talk to them.
Wow, because they could see you're a good person. Basically, you're good, honest, sincere, and then you will work hard to kind of represent.
I think firstly, they already accept in this part of the world, because our so-called the local language is not the English is the mother. Of course, Singapore, I think we all know our working language is English. But they more or less can accept because the level, because we all have our own local language. Like we can speak Bahasa, right? We can speak Chinese, right? They cannot. They knew very well. You want to start to begin to talk about Chinese, they cannot.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage all the young people. It's okay. If you're not from a top school, don't worry about this. When you go to the better field in business, this is not the one count. It's better when you talk to them. Sincere is very important.
Yeah.
And then you must show them you will fight for the brand. you will definitely protect the brand.
Wow.
Or their product, you can show a product. You must show that when you talk, they can see you from your eye, they can tell you this fellow is a hungry man or not.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
When you talk like this, they say, Peter, I like to represent your brand. Singapore is 3.6 million. You finish already.
Yeah.
You must tell them, Singapore, we had 3.6 million. I know my market very well. I will work very hard for you in the next. Give me one chance. All right? I will represent your brand for 3 years. If I'm no good, you sack me. You just tell them upfront. If I'm no good, you then replace a new agency, the distributor.
Wow.
You tell them. So they will say, this man got a gut to come and tell me this. Okay, give him a chance.
Wow. And that was the next evolution. So as you started to grow all these, right, and you started to get one brand, then many brands, right, the need to grow leaders, hire people, set in place systems and structure, because just a bunch of brothers doing it is one thing. Having a big corporation now, you start to have to hire. What was your philosophy towards leading, hiring?
You see, Singapore, we must admit we are a small market.
Yeah.
You must admit it. The good news, we had a regional. Your mindset, any businessman, I would say the same thing. Get your country, the country origin, get it right first. That means Singapore.
Yeah.
Or you are in Malaysia, you get in Malaysia, right? Or Indonesia, you get in. Then you try to expand into another country you are familiar. Actually, Singapore, one good advantage, you can just cross to Malaysia. Actually, same language, We're about the same.
Very similar.
And the market is very big. Combined together, we are about 40 million population. Combined together. Actually, not too bad. 40 million to begin a business. Don't think about Singapore 5 million or 5.67 million. You think about Malaysia combined is good. If you think about it, 40 million populations, that is your second step. If you can, you go to the country you're familiar later, the language maybe to your advantage, Hong Kong side, Hong Kong and Taiwan side. Because Mandarin, Hokkien, Guangdong, in Hong Kong is a Cantonese side.
Yeah, Cantonese.
But it's okay because they can speak English as well. But you go to this country that is, I think, similar, we can speak, we can communicate, and we can hire the good stuff. Of course, you have to think a bit on regional. Our step 2 is we are thinking a bit on regional.
Yeah.
After the expansions, we think about regional. So, then from the regional, then the brand you get not only one, you get multiple brand now. Then of course, automatically your revenue gone out, right? In 1996, just about 14 years, already 100 million revenue.
Wow. From all of these different brands?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that one is a real, it's just the 100 million is a real one, not like online, right? They spend a lot of money in advertising and then the sales, I'm not sure they buy the sales, but right? They're heavily in marketings and so on, right? But ours is not. It's purely in brick and mortar at that point in time.
Wow.
So the 100 million revenues, that is considered one of the, what you can consider okay, they treat you're a serious player in this part of the world.
Wow.
Can you imagine, you talk about 5-6%, you only make 5-6 million.
Yeah.
Melvin, are you confident if you make 5-6 million a year? Let's say you're talking about 5 to 6%. I don't talk about 10%.
Yeah.
All right.
That's excellent. There's like
your entire life change.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Then you go to talk to anybody, you will become a very confident person.
Yeah.
So this is my industry about the same, 14 years. Well, basically from shoe to fashion to sport. About the same.
Wow.
Are we in? To me, I think we're in the same industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then how did the Harvey Norman journey begin?
Okay. I get my company to go to stock exchange in listed in stock exchange in Singapore in 1996.
Wow. Was it a big moment for you? Or you start as a factory person, hold a shoe, and now you get listed in the stock exchange?
Yeah. You know why?
How you feel?
I feel when I discussed with my bank, remember I mentioned about 82 with this OUB bank?
Yeah.
Small, medium-sized bank. So 1996, I spoke to them. I say, I want to float my company. And of course, I have my directors, everybody supported because of the growth.
Yeah.
They can see the brothers, three brothers, growing the business from nothing, right, to this. So the bank is so happy about it to say that. Then it can demonstrate a little boy now become a young man. Of course, 1986 is still a young man. You're 14 years old company. OUB was so proud. I remember they put our photo in their annual report, bank annual report.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That they also advertise, right? They say they brought out a baby, right? So all the way to reach to this level, they were so proud. OUB Bank. Unfortunately, they was acquired by another bank.
Yeah.
Now, that moment, my whole family is basically saying it's a miracle to us because we didn't expect more than 100 million revenue. We also didn't expect the value of the organization is 120 million.
Wow.
So to me, I will never even imagine in 1982 a few $1,000, and then you're talking about now the quoted share, the share is worth 120 million.
Wow.
This is unbelievable to us at that point in time. Yeah.
How was it like on your family? How was it like in terms of that? You know, like as you built this thing from a few $1,000s to there, was it like they take you day and night? Do you have time to spend with your kids? Were you around to watch your kids grow up? How was it relationship wise and everything?
Melvin, you hit the right spot. I believe majority of the entrepreneur are working very hard. 14, 16, 18 hours is a must. You can interview anyone from Jack Ma to Lee Ka-shin to Robert Kwok to even Far East, Singapore, you're familiar, Far East boss, right?
Yeah.
Philip Father, Ng Teng Fong. Everyone have worked very hard because you look at their background is all quite similar, all right? So, of course, they are more successful. Now, everybody no, this is one of the unique you must have. Work very hard. But of course, the good thing about all these people you study, they're all vision. They have a big vision.
Yeah.
They all think like that. How can I put my organization to like this? How can I expand my organization? So they all think day and night. But I believe they all have something in common is the wife play the important part at home with the kid. That must be a partnership.
Yeah.
Don't ever call your wife just a housewife. No, you take it as a partner. Be fair to them because they play a very important role. Because you have to focus all your energy in how to grow. Not only growth, you also have crisis, right? When crisis, you must be there to hold, right?
Yeah.
Right.
For your people and for your team.
For your people, for the team, for the business not to fall.
Yeah.
So of course, the missus is play the important part at home. That's why I always say it's always a partnership. Yeah. That will hold the whole things well. Is what I mean.
Wow. And what was the next stage after the stock exchange? You got listed, then that Harvey Norman deal came about.
Again, I say the same thing. You're very confident already, right? The time I say, wow, can I grow? Because just listed in 90. So first time we received quite a lot of millions of dollars because we sell some vendors share as well and new share. Suddenly the organization have quite a lot of money. So I was thinking in 1986 whether I can expand further. So I traveled to Australia because we already have a wholesale company in Australia. So I say, wow, can I expand? Because Asia Pacific. So I'm already in Asia, right? So can I get Pacific as well, called Asia Pacific? So I saw one company retail, very big retail called Rebel Sport.
Yeah.
The big box style, it's everything under one roof. So I say, maybe this is a good company I can. So happening, I met the MD, managing directors who manage it. They say the chairman wanted to retire, wanted to sell the share. you are from Asia, you're keen, because we are the distributor for Prince in Australia. So I have some idea. I say, why not? Can consider, because I just listed, right? And that time I say, wow, they also listed, not too bad. So I one listed company, now I acquired the second one.
Wow.
Do you think, wow, very nice. 1996, your first listed company, you acquire in 1987, another listed company. It's a totally, and also profitable company.
Wow.
So finally, we discussed among the brothers, say, okay, we bought a company.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's second listed company.
Wow. And then how do you meet Harvey? Because like when you told the story the first time, apparently Harvey and Norman, these are actual real people.
Yeah, real people. So 1999, Australia, right?
Yeah.
Because Harvey Norman is in Australia, the largest electronic company. So I was talking to my MD. So sometimes good to talk to your senior staff, talk to people. So we were having a breakfast and Peter was saying, George, there's one company you may want to consider, take a look. I say, what's so bad? He say, electronic company. I say, I'm not in this industry. How can I? He say, no, it's a retail company. You already own Rebel, right?
Yeah.
In Australia, New Zealand, right? He say, happening, they also, Australia and New Zealand, you want to consider. I say, why so special? He say, franchise. Huh? I say, franchise, what's so special of franchise? He say, no, this one's something different. Because this company PE are priced to earning 40 to 45 times. Oh, I say, wonderful. This is only Microsoft can do it at that time. So I say, why don't you fix an appointment for me to meet up with him? So finally I met a very nice gentleman. He explained about how he began. He put a few $1 million. Gerry, Harvey, his name called Gerry Harvey, and Mr. Norman put a few million. But Norman never worked in our office, I think for one day, I believe, no.
Oh, really?
Only Gerry working. And this guy worked a few $100 million. That is a nice thing. That is a separate story, right? I love to do that. Anyway, I met up with Gerry. I say, Gerry, I'm from Asia.
Yeah.
You're Australian, New Zealand. We have big population in our part of the world.
Yeah.
All right. Because China already 1.2, 1.3 billion cents. I say, can you consider this? He said, no. My business is good enough, Australia. I say, no, who knows? One day Asia economy will fry, So I try to sell the same thing, like you have to sell the whole Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
How promising in the future. So he said, okay. The meeting went very well. He paid the bill for the dinner, I thanks. Then he said, George, the next time you come again, you come and see my office. So I went, of course, in opportunities to see a billionaire. He's already a billionaire, top 10.
Yeah.
So I went to the office. Then I look at the setup. Hey, why so simple? It's just like a Jurong's one of the factory outlet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then I see lunchtime, there's no chauffeur. He himself is a chauffeur. So he drive. The car is not Rolls Royce or something or Bentley. No. Just a normal car. Then we're having a lunch. Then after that, of course, he will share his story about how he started the organization and so on, why he can reach this level. And then I know about the same. All the successful people, they all watch out all the costs. Even the office itself, anyway, it functioned very well.
Yeah.
They are very big at that point in time. So I managed to convince him, again, the same thing, when you want to get a partner or you want to hire the top executive, make sure you're also sincere. Don't try to throw your success story. How good am I? It's not for you to tell people how good you are. It's for people to tell you how good you are. You understand? You just be more humble and just be more passionate and you talk to the people and tell your set of story. Of course, they know you're boasting or not. They will know all these are overt. You don't go and mess up with them. No point. Tell them the truth, what you can do, what you cannot do. It's better you tell them like that. They will know this is more real, more authentic.
Wow.
Okay. So I managed to get him. He said, okay, if opportunity, you can come back and see me again. You see, as a businessman, entrepreneur, when people tell you opportunity, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, we got to pursue it.
Chiong lah.
Yeah.
Correct or not?
Yeah.
They say you go and look out. Of course, you come back and quickly look out, see whether what is available in the market, right? So
Yeah.
there's one company available. So I managed to convince him. I say, why don't we take over this company? So we managed to get this company. So this one is my third listed company.
Wow.
Can you see?
Yeah.
A young man, no? One listed company, 96, another one second in 97, 99, another one. So what do you think?
It's pretty impressive. It's really.
You feel right, the whole level is different already. Like you forget about in 98, the 1982, the 5,000. You forget already. Your journey have moved to this level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How was the entire process of like grooming people, building systems? I heard you talk about difference between 6 and 7 figure company to 8 to 9 to now you guys are doing even 10. Like, what's the process like in terms of lessons, in terms of failures, in terms of maybe mistakes that you have made? Also, is entirely different.
You see, what I'm happy about it is when I list my company, because I lead the whole team. Of course, you have a lawyer team, you have the auditor team, you have the investment banker. There are 3 group of people. Then, of course, I have to lead my management as well. I have to appoint independent director and so on. But the process, I'm quite happy because I learned how to deal with professional. Must learn. Because auditors, all the big 4, or the lawyer or investment banker, their language quite different.
Yeah.
Because they are very professional. They are also very detailed. They ask the information from you must be all supported. Actually, the process, most of the people will give it to the CFO or we call the finance director. But don't do that. If you first listing, if possible, you do it by yourself.
Wow.
When you start to talk to all these professionals, and you understand the set. Of course, you have your CFO next to you, right? You also have a team who prepare all documents. Then you have 4 teams, right? If you can lead, then you understand the process, how you work.
First time you do it yourself.
I do it myself.
No matter how challenging.
Doesn't matter. You must learn. You force yourself to learn the legal term because the legal people, they ask the compliance question. All the question is very tough. But you have to face it. There's no other alternative. There's no shortcut in this world. I believe all the tycoon, the same things. They will learn one. So you learn the process, how it go. Of course, your FC also must be very strong to make sure that they guide you properly, to make sure you follow the compliance and all these things.
Wow.
So this is something I learned a lot.
Yeah. So as all of these things build, right, how they affect your life? Like obviously many listed companies, different companies doing well. Did you how they in fact affect your family, your personal life? Did you what do you do for fun now? Like etc.
Of course, you cannot do too many things. I don't play golf because I just don't have enough time to do that. I will allocate some time for my family. Every week, I will try to arrange one dinner with the family members. So my children will come along, my wife, we all sit there, and then the children is very noisy. They will talk. But anyway, it's a nice thing to do. I try to do it every week once at least. So to keep the family together, all the children will talk. Very nice. I think.
Do you still consider yourself like a normal person?
I think so. Because we're still doing the same thing now. Even the election, Sunday, we're having a family dinner also. We still do the same thing. They say, George, you are very busy. But I think you just have to balance. Your life is like that. You have to balance. The family is very important to me.
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions more. I mean, so what exactly is the role of a president, right? I love to hear you talk about it also. And why specifically do you feel that you are not just qualified, but more than qualified? And in fact, you consider yourself the most suitable candidate to actually perform that role?
From the private sector, in history, none of the private sector's chief executive have come forward. Anyway, Melvin, there are very few are qualified.
Yeah.
It sounds easy, but actually it's very difficult. The bar from 100 million to 500 million. But anyway, whoever can bring 500 million to the table, whether it's a company or parent or company or combined, it's the same quality of people.
Yeah.
I can't see why we should make it different for this.
What's the job of a president? I once heard you talk about, like, he's got to perform different roles. Or
the job of a president, of course, you simplify it, basically run into only three. One role, of course, is a ceremonial role.
Okay.
People just want to say that president only just a ceremonial figure.
Yeah.
One. The second, of course, you have to perform your so-called of the constitution role.
Yeah.
Constitution itself, of course, they are written quite a number of jobs. The more difficult one, I want to say, is only two, but there's still other under the constitution. Two I need to have.
Yeah.
The first one is a safeguard, of course we call check. People like to use the check or use the word safeguard. Okay, doesn't matter. Its function is all the same. You matter to safeguard our reserve. I mean the second key. Some people also use the word called second key. So when crises like COVID, of course, the government will come forward to say, we need to use the reserve for the situations of, especially like COVID. The president, you must have some experience. The best is you are very familiar with balance sheet. You're very familiar with how the money been deployed, right? You're not talking about just us only, right? You must also make sure where the money go, right?
Yeah.
You agree, no?
Yeah.
If you just ask, I just sign and chop and you pass. I mean, this is not a right thing to do as a president, right? You must make sure at least you know where the money goes.
Checks
right?
and balances, etc.
You must make sure they functions.
Yeah.
At least you must know this thing. I think this one, throughout my 40 over years, it's almost like an investment banker background because you listed so many companies. You are more or less, you train like an investment banker.
Yeah.
So to do jobs, this job is not an issue. The second one, this one you need some experience. You pick the right people, right, into the right job. Your company, when you hire someone in the IT, do you think you bring a marketing guy to go into the IT?
No, you don't.
You wouldn't do that also, right? So especially we hire not only for local, we also abroad also, right? Overseas as well and so on. Of course, to us, to hire the chief executive, the MD, of course we know what are the criteria is suitable for this channel, for what industry. You property development, you cannot go and bring a guy from water treatment, right?
Yeah, cannot.
The water treatment guy, you need engineering background. You go and bring somebody from retail background. Tough also, right?
Yeah.
So you need to bring the right people into the right job. Of course, owner is different, right? We as an entrepreneur, our mindset quite different. But when we hire the people, we must have a skill to bring the right people in the job. President, of course, the key appointment is very important. For me, conflicts and interest this is the most important must take care. Make sure there is no conflicts of interest.
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah.
That's why we always say, don't want kaki nang.
Yeah.
You understand kaki nang?
Yeah.
Because conflict of interest is deal with this word called kaki nang. Because you cannot do it objectively. When you talk about this, because you are part of the system, how are you going to say no? It's very difficult. This is a challenge.
Wow.
The third one, to me, I think the most important one is a community role.
Yeah.
That means you serve the community, you can champion a lot of good causes. When I'm on the ground, I see the needy people, the old people. So I understand a lot of people are left behind. You see, we are first world country, sound good, right? There are many people earn 1,004. There are many people at the old age, right? They are unemployed. So these are the people are left behind. I mean, as a president, you cannot represent like Ministry of MSF, right? You cannot. That's an executive role. But you can champion certain causes You can do, like, for example, the President Challenge, right?
Yeah.
So if we can make it slightly bigger scale, I think that will be help.
Wow.
So I think President can play a big role into this.
Mm.
You ask me, among the three, this is one of the very important. But this one require you must have the heart for the people.
Mm.
If you don't have a heart for the people to serve this community, you cannot go too far. You cannot. Because this is not something that is require international experience or require international exposure. You no need to require all this. You need to make sure these old folks, this old lady, this old man. So this is the community services.
Yeah.
The one is quite a challenging one. If you don't have the heart for this group, you cannot do it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
My final question for you is what is your love for Singapore? What's your vision for Singapore? Why ultimately are you doing this? When you could just go and retire, have an easy life or so. So, you chose something from the first day I met you, you chose something that, is might not be the most relaxing thing to do at this age. So there must be because of love or for whatever reason. So what's your reason? What's your love for the country?
When I was young, 15, I say to my father, I say, Papa, I'm heading to work to earn some money for family. When I was 22, I discussed with my older brother, I want to be on my own. I want to start my own career. So when I first listed in 1996, I say, we make it. Now our family make it. So after that, I continue. Age 48, I already have 7 listed company. If I combine all together, the market value is about 3.15. That only these 7. I don't include all the private company. Because this one we have the figure to support. The other private we don't put it together. So this land, Singapore, bless my entire family. So if I'm the only one, let's say, can come forward to serve this nation, why not? My entire family, is blessed in this land. That means Singapore and Singaporean have been supporting my whole family. So I think if I can serve for 6 years, I would like to serve. I'm happy to do it. Not too old, 67, about 64, plus 6 years, about 70. That's about 9 years. So this is something I think I want to give back to this country.
Even if it's hard, even if it's challenging?
It's hard. I know it's a very hard job because you need to serve the whole entire nation, not only the small family I have now. You have to take it, everyone is your family member. That is a very tough job. But anyway, I've been doing it in the past. In the family, I'm also one of the leader of the family. So I have been doing it. So for this, I'm prepared to do it for my 5.8 million population.
Wow. So George, one of the things also you mentioned, just now was also the heart and sincerity to serve. I'm aware that you've done philanthropy, and how did that come about? What was that about in terms of wanting to give back, etc. Walk us through a little bit.
8 years ago, Lisa and myself, we set up the foundation. The foundation mainly for communities. So our first project in Singapore, I recall, is the cardboard collector. Cardboard collector is mainly the senior citizen. Their life is very tough. The sad part is per kg, I just tell you, 6 cents. It's very small money. You see, they accumulated so many cardboard. Per kg, sell to the Kalanguni is only 6 cents. I was on the ground, I talked to the Kalanguni, I say, can you consider to up the price? Don't suppress to this level too low. They only make 200, 300 per month. Think about it, when people earn 200, 300, it's not a nice thing.
Yeah.
You must feel it, I hope we all can feel it. There are many people left behind. That's why I say. The second one is the people with disability. Some are born, some are not. The whole family is affected because if they have a child like that. Because either the father had to stop work or the mother must stop.
Yeah.
I can tell you the lives is too tough for these people. So Border Mission, we try. Of course, we cannot cover everything.
Yeah.
But we because we are self-funding, we don't take any donation from anybody.
Yeah.
It's our family money. So we do our way to serve the people. So we're quite happy about it. Anyway, we hope we can serve more. Because this foundation is already set up. Even I pass on, I told my wife, the body mission must continue.
Oh.
Because I allocate certain funds. Hopefully they can do more and more. But we try to focus in 2-3 areas. We don't want to jumping from one place to another place. I think they're not right. We just want to focus a few areas.
Yeah. I got one final question for you, George. I really love your entire story. Because I can just like visualize as you share it with me, you're there, you're carrying a bunch of boots, and then, you're just selling it. And then eventually each stage, then you evolve and evolve and evolve and evolve all the way to, $3.15 billion, is George Goh special in a way that, he can do something that other people cannot do? Is George Goh like the chosen one, or he can do this miraculous thing? Or
no, I think, Melvin, I'm an ordinary people. Definitely, I'm not something very special. When I start to do some mentoring to the young people, then I slowly internalize and say, hey, educations, I don't have. George Goh don't have. But many young people have. I say, I'm not a scholar. So I will tell the young people, doesn't matter. If George Goh not a scholar, it's okay. You're not a scholar, it's good enough. Then I ask myself, when I first married, I don't have a house. I rent in Hougang 1 room. I say to the young people, okay, you wait a couple of years, your BTO will come, right? So I say, work hard, you will get there. So I don't have, but I'm today, of course, I have my house. And I say, George Goh do not have a car. When I start my career, 22 years, my brothers have one motorbike.
Yeah.
Delivery is by motorbike. Can you imagine the shoe delivery by motorbike? I'm talking about Grab. I'm not Grab food delivery, It's a shoe delivery. But don't have. But now I have it. So I want to tell the young people, if George Goh cannot have a car last time, cannot afford to have it, but now I have it. So you also can do it. Then I look at my entire family. My father, my mother's, everybody's from a so-called humble beginning, right? But 80% of our people nation are like that. We all from an ordinary people.
Yeah.
So what I want to say is, if you can see George Goh, I want to give some inspiration to the young people. Think about this. Hey, George Goh don't have this. He can do it today. George Goh don't have this today. He can do this. George Goh do not know how to do business, but he started to learn how to do business and publicly listed the company. International, not only talking about local. Everything made by himself. So George Goh don't have this. He can make it. So I want to tell all the young people, if George Goh can, you sure can. Because I'm not special. I don't think I have any special. Just a very normal person. So what I want to tell the young people, you can think like that. No need to be worried about you don't have this, you cannot make this, you don't have this, you cannot. No, not at all. So I hope this is something I can inspire the young people.
Wow. George, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.